Well, that was an abrupt fade in. Hi. Hi, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is August the 22nd, 4 p.m. EST. How's everyone doing? It's great to be here as always. Hope you enjoyed last week's show with Dave from Rainsong. Did you find that interesting? It's always good to have Dave on here, and I wish them all the best with their new endeavor of selling direct. That sounds like a very exciting thing. But it's good to be back. I've had a lot of thoughts on gear lately. In fact, I want to start labeling these live streams with more of a title, like a topic. Because each week there is a title or a topic, either something that I choose or that a viewer's question leads to. So I think it'd be more interesting to have a topic, at least for the middle of the video or the start of the video, if not the whole video, to talk about one thing. So today's topic, I didn't put on the video, but there will be one. The topic today will be... Actually, I've got several things I want to talk about, but the main one will be downsizing, selling gear, the current state of selling gear on the used market, and also new gear that's now coming out that was announced a while ago. So that's what I'm going to tell you about my gear thing today. And then I think going forward, there'll be a different topic for each thing. Because the weekend I did a band gig, first one I've done in a while, and I got to try out my tube amps and my new mixer and everything in that environment, and it was really successful, and I'm really happy with how it went. So I want to talk about the gear I used and why I used it and why I think it worked so well. So that could be another topic. But today I'm going to talk about something I've been doing the last couple of weeks, which is deciding what to sell and then selling it. Where do you sell it? How do you sell it? So let me know what you think of that in the chat as well. If you're currently buying or selling anything, where are you finding the most success in doing that? And I'll tell you about the experience that I've had the last couple of weeks. I've mostly used reverb.com, and I'll tell you about how successful that's been. All right, so first of all, let's say hi to some people. David is here. Good afternoon, Aaron, everyone in the chat. I hope your week is off to a good start. Pooh's already 3 points in. Ah, yes, Pooh Ninja had one. But Pooh Ninja didn't put the Q, so I can't answer his question. Sorry, Pooh Ninja, you got to put the Q there first, my friend. All right, and if you do it, I'll answer it later on. No problem. Hi, Chazza. How you doing? Good to see you. Lee is here. Busy working, but we'll try and be here all through. Awesome. Thanks, Lee. Enjoyed your video the other day as well on YouTube. On your YouTube, check out Lee's channel. He's posting performances now, which is good. Rosanna says, "Hi, Aaron. Everyone here. Happy Monday. Good to see you, Rosanna. Thanks for moderating." The little spanner icon means that they're moderating, and if any bots come in here flashing up their flashings, they will be ejected. So thanks for doing that. Pooh Ninja says, "Oh, I keep my gear or I miss it and have to rebuy it." Now, this is a thing. Let's go straight into this then. This is a thing with gear, isn't it? And you've seen me go through this. You've seen this happen to me on my channel over the lockdown. You've seen me buy stuff and say to you on here, I bought it because I used to have it and I missed it and I remember it being really good. So let's think about what those things were. First of all, I can't remember everything, but I had and I loved the Maiden guitars. I got another one. I still liked it. That was just kind of like even keel with that one. But there was the, I can't even think now. The Martin Aura guitar. The Martin Aura guitar. No, I never owned one of those. I'd owned the Retro series, but not that particular guitar. And I got that because I saw it at Guitar Center for a good price. And I knew if I didn't work out, I could sell it. So it was fine. And that actually did sound really good, especially unplugged. And then I'll get to the reason why I sold that in a second. The Rainsong Smoky. So the Rainsong Smoky, I was like, I'll get one again. I said to Dave on here last week, I didn't like it as much as I did before. So is that because I didn't like it as much as I thought I did? Or is it because that guitar didn't sound the same, which is unlikely being carbon fiber? I don't know. So when you do sell a piece of gear, do you tend to miss it because you just simply don't have it anymore? Oh, here's a good example. Last night, there was a great live stream of John Mayer. It was $20 to watch, but it was really well done. It was for charity. It was really well done. And if you saw it, let me know in the chat. It was an excellent concert. He played acoustic with a drummer, and it was really, really, really good. And it was funny because at the start of the show, he had a lot of problems with the pickup. He had to not use his main guitar, which was funny. But that guitar, I always talk about it on the channel. I always say how much I regret selling it. And I was saying to a friend of mine who's also into the John Mayer and those guitars last night the same thing, because I found the reverb listing of it. But it's the same thing. If I still had it, would I actually play it? Would I, because at the end of the day, the pickup wasn't good enough for me. And I wouldn't want to upgrade that pickup because then it's not the original guitar anymore. And I wouldn't want to take it out and gig it, knowing the value of those guitars now. So what would I do? Would I sell it? Would I just sell it, but sell it for more money than what I sold it for? Or would I keep it? That's a whole new question for me right there as well, with the whole buying and selling gear. So what's happening with me right now is I need to downsize, basically. I've got a lot of stuff here. Stuff here I thought, I can review that. Stuff here I bought used. Stuff I bought for good prices in the lockdown. And stuff that maybe, a few things that maybe I shouldn't have bought in the lockdown. And I thought, right, in all seriousness, I need more space. I need to get rid of some stuff. And there's stuff here that I don't use. So I think the thing for me to begin with is the stuff that has like a shelf life. So I just sold I had a Variax here that I got that I was going to do some videos about with the Helix, but I stopped using the Helix. So I never made those videos. So I just sold that on Reverb. And I also sold some pedals as well that are like digital pedals. And the reason that I'm selling those first is that gear like that does have a shelf life. Okay, I think you'll agree with me. Like, for example, let's take something like a Variax, for example. Made years ago, good product, but made years ago. Parts are getting scarce now. They're still making them to a certain extent when they can around all the issues we have right now. But I'm not even saying there'll be a new version. That there could be a new version. I guess the more the years go by, the more chance there is there'll be a new version, which is a cool thing. But not if you've got the old version. But what you do see a lot, and you've got to bear this in mind with gear, is that it becomes obsolete. Now, I just want to say, I do see some people say, I'm not going to buy this modeler or pedal because one day it become obsolete. I mean, everything becomes obsolete over time, of course. And I'm not saying that you should just buy vintage Martins because they'll be around forever, although they will. And you shouldn't buy like an Acoustasonic because that will become outdated, although it will. But some pieces of gear, like, I mean, the Acoustasonic is still a very new guitar, but something like a Variax that's been out now already for 8 or 10 years, and you do see less and less of them, and it could be a good time for them to update it. Well, I'm still not saying you shouldn't own one. If you're going to use it and it's the right thing for you, then you should not sell it. But for me, as someone that doesn't have the thing that it plugs into anymore, isn't thinking of using it, and it's sitting in the closet, that for me was like, that's an easy one. So, okay, that can go first of all. And then a guitar that doesn't have any technology, like let's say my Martin Authentic guitar, I'm not going to sell that, but let's say that one, that should be the one that I keep to the end, because that's the one that you could sell at in 20 years time, and the value should have gone up, hopefully, right? But anything technology-wise, again, I want to make it clear here. I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy stuff with technology. I love the stuff with technology, but that stuff has to be stuff you're going to use as a tool. So, for example, if you're going to buy a digital mixer, it's got to be something you're then going to use all the time at gigs to make money with, and eventually then it will just die in a few years' time, but you made your money with it. But you can't really buy that to use on occasion, because there'll be a day in a few years' time when the app no longer is supported or the parts are no longer available. So that's my reasoning for starting with that kind of stuff. Stuff where I either just don't use it at all, or where there's a potential possibility where it won't be repairable in the future. So that's what I was thinking with that. So last week I did really well. I put a lot of listings up. I sold about 5 things. I've got another 5 things up now, and that's my plan. So my plan really is to move stuff out of here to get more space, and to obviously put that money back in the bank. But the other reason, which is the less healthy reason, I know I sound like I'm in a doctor's office right now, but the less healthy reason is that there's a few limited edition guitars coming out that I want to buy. and 2 of those are coming out next week. And I don't really want to say what they are. If you can guess what they are in the chat, then that's fine. But I don't want to say what they are because I don't want the store that I ordered from to get in trouble. But there's two limited, not limited. There's one special edition and one limited edition guitar out next week that I want to get. And to get those things, obviously, if we want to try different gear and buy different gear, we can't just keep buying it and keeping it forever, because you'll end up with nowhere to live and no money in the bank and in horrible debt. So that's the other side of this as well. I want to sell like 10 guitars to turn into 2 guitars. So I think that's a good plan, because that will give me more space and some new guitars to talk about. And also not just to talk about on the channel. That's a terrible business decision as well, by the way. But I want those guitars for me personally anyway. So turn it into those 2, show them to you on the channel, keep them, maybe resell them in the future down the line if I need that money back again. So a little bit of kind of investment side there. I don't believe in buying guitars as investments, but the good thing with the limited stuff is it will at least maintain its value. I doubt that it will drop in value. It might do, but they'll usually maintain their value, if not go up a little bit from there as well. So that's a good thing. So that'll be really fun, because next week we can talk about, I think actually after next Tuesday, we can talk about those guitars, which I'm not sure if you'll be interested in or not, because I don't know if you like the artist, but we'll see. All right, so that's where I'm at. So where are you at? Have you bought anything this week? Have you sold anything? Have you seen any trends happening, like with the used market? I don't think it's not as hot as it was a few months ago. Things have definitely slowed down. There's a ton of guitars in stock now all the time when I'm looking on the websites, which is obviously a sign of that as well, right? So I do agree, Poo Ninja. If you keep the gear, you won't miss it and rebuy it, and that's definitely something that I've done. I've definitely wanted to rebuy stuff, and I'm like, why am I doing that? Because I sold it. Surely if I sold it, and it's important to remember this as well, isn't it? If you sell something, you didn't want it anymore. So why would you want it again? Is it just that fear of missing out? It's interesting. Patsy Smith, hi. Brian, yeah, I fell into the black gear hole. So actually, the reason I did the green screen today mainly is because I did that gig at the weekend and I took all the stuff there. So a good tip for that is get one of those go-karts. A go-kart. In fact, why don't we put a screen up behind me so you can see what I'm talking about, and that will look less like a black hole on the screen. Yeah, I really, really love this go-kart thing, and I'll show you why, if I can find one. I thought they were on Sweetwater, but I can't find it now. It's you probably know what it is already. It's a big cart, and what you can do basically is put all the gear for the gig. Here it is. I found it. I think they've been ripped off. Oh no, it's called the Rock and Roller Cart. That's it. This one here. So it's not cheap, but that's because it's well made. And this is what it looks like. So this is a really good thing, because in fact, this is the one that I have, isn't it? Yeah. So what you do with this is, rather than carry in, which I used to do years ago, carry in one speaker, guitar amp, cable bag, something else, something else, something else, something else, something else, something else. You just put it all on this cart, and the cart folds up, really compact. It's really well made, and this is important. Now you might say to me, "Well, I can just buy any old cart, right?" But you want it to be sturdy and reliable, of course. And then they also sell separately these really good bungee cords, which you wrap around it. So on this cart, I had 4 PA speakers, guitar amp, secondary guitar cab, bag of cables, and a mixer. And then I bungeed it all together. And believe it or not, that still wasn't the whole rig. I needed one more trip aside from that for the clothes and a few other little bags I had. But that made the difference between 2 trips to the car and maybe 8 trips to the car, 10 trips, whatever. So it's really good. And then when you've set up, you can fold it away and put it under the table. And then when you leave, you can just assemble it again and take it out. It's really, really good. If you do gigs where you take a lot of gear or heavy gear, I really recommend it. It's so much easier than taking things one by one. And I see a lot of people using it. The drummer had this as well. So if you're a drummer or you take PA systems, anything like that, maybe if you just play acoustic, you don't need one of these. But if you're running a band, these things are awesome. And they're worth every penny. And I've had mine for years and it's still like the day I bought it. So I definitely think it's worth the investment if you're running a band or something like that. It's called the Rock and Roller Cart. And there's all different versions as well. So if you look at this, there is a mini hand truck like this one. There's the mini version. And then the mid, the micro. So you can get the one that you need. I actually wish that mine was bigger. So let's take a look at the biggest one. You see, you get the huge wheels on this one. This is the one that the drummer had. You get the huge wheels on there. And it opens up even bigger than mine. So with something like this, you could potentially get your entire rig on that. The whole PA. Because I take PA and guitar stuff as well. And lots of cables. If I had this one, I could probably do one trip into the venue. And one trip out again with some extra stuff as well. So that's what I would do. And then I haven't even looked at all the different options. There's a max, a micro. So like on the max, again, you get the big wheels on that one. I think mine is the mid. And again, I've had it for so long. It's been such a great investment. See, so it opens up nice and wide like that. But I do recommend the cable, the bungee cords. These are the bungee cords here, $20. Because I've done a few trips without bungee cords and things have fallen off and gotten scratched. That's annoying. So you get the cart, you get the bungee cords. Look, they're really well made. They're really sturdy. They go perfectly around and clip onto the frame of the cart. And then everything's good to go. One trip to the gig, one trip out again. It's really, really great. Really, really good. Really great product. All right. Let me see what I missed here. John Mayer needs to watch this channel and give you $20 for charity. Well, I do talk about him a lot, don't I? Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. What can I say? But today that wasn't really regret of selling that guitar. It was more just a point. And by the way, hi BMO. That was more just a point of when we sell stuff, why do we regret it? Or do we regret it or not? And I was saying, if I still had it, I'd be in another dilemma. I'd be in the dilemma of, do I sell it now or wait another 10 years? Maybe it'll be worth double again. Maybe it'll be worth nothing. Some of that stuff feels like gambling, which isn't good, is it? David called me a scalper. Well, I almost felt like I got called a scalper on Reverb. I don't think it's fair because, like, if you, I spoke to David about this. Like, if you're selling something that is no longer available and you're asking more than the price was at the time of sale, I mean, it's okay, I'm going to use the John Mayer as an example again. When the John Mayer was released, there was around 500, 400 something guitars. They were $450. Now, if you want to buy one now, they're $20,000 in new condition. So you wouldn't message the person and say, well, when they were released, they were $4,500. So I'm going to pay you $4,500. Or even worse, when they were released, they were worth $4,500. So I'm going to pay you 50%, which is a used price, and give you $2,000. Terrible maths. You wouldn't do that, would you? So that's how I felt this week. I was selling gear and I wasn't looking to scalp people. This is how I do it. I went onto Reverb. I looked at what's available. If there's none available and yours is the only one, or if there's one other one and the price of theirs is double what it was 5 years ago, you're not going to put it on for the price that you paid for it 5 years ago minus 50%, are you? You're going to put it on for the current market value. And the current market value is what the other ones have just sold for or are selling for. So that's what I did. And then, of course, when you put that in, that's not set in stone, because then if you want to buy something from the person, you can then send them a message, make them an offer, talk about it, things like that. Remembering that Reverb will take 7% and you have to pay shipping and tax and everything as well. So you've got to bear that stuff in mind. But yeah, I find that it's interesting to navigate the used market sometimes, because obviously the person selling, i.e. me, wants to get their money back if possible. We understand that we can't get our money back if we've used it to make money down the line, like use the guitar at gigs, which is fair enough because we've used it to make money at gigs. And then with some gear, it's worth more than it was when we paid for it because it's not available anymore. And with some gear, it's worth much less than we paid for it because it's now outdated. So it really does actually feel like I'm gambling with that kind of stuff. Lee said, I keep looking at buying a new guitar, but Rosanna made me buy her a new cooker. Oh, well, at least you can eat, Lee. Rosanna says, I bought the new cooker and three guitars. Sounds like Lee doesn't pay for anything in that household. Am I right? Oh, good. David says, I like the rock and roller cart. They are very handy. Yes. Yes, they are. Yeah, highly, highly recommended. You know, I'm funny. Like, sometimes I tried not to use it. Like, oh, I've got to assemble it. And when I get there, I've got to fold it away again. I can't be bothered. I'll just carry the stuff. And then you realize when you're home at 1 a.m. carrying one by one speaker from a car in the rain or the freezing cold, that you should have just taken the cart in the first place, of course. Oh, David has them as well. These are very popular products. The R2 and the R8. On my third over 20 years. I couldn't gig without them. Really cool. So you've got the R2D2. Let me see which one that is. The R2. So the R8, that's the one that I have. Yes, that's awesome. And you've got the R2 as well. I'm guessing the R2 is the mini one, right? Yeah, it must be. Oh, that's the R6. What's the R2 then? How can a cart be so confusing? I don't see it. Anyway, I feel like someone else sells these now as well. Oh, that's the R2. Okay, so the R2. So the R2 is a smaller one? In fact, no. Is mine the R2? Maybe it is. I've forgotten. It's how can the cart be so confusing? I either have the R2 or the R8. I can't remember. But the... I think I saw some more as well. I think another company now sells them as well. Yeah, Gator. Look, Gator make them now too. And on stage as well. So you've got plenty of choice here. Plenty of options. But the Rock and Roller is the one I've had and it's been really great. Yeah, here we go. Look. Yeah, an incredibly boring but essential piece of gear for you to have. Steven says, what about Voice Live 3? I just sold mine because it still had good value in the market. It's pretty old technology. Waiting for the next big thing. Steven, thank you for typing this because this is perfect for what I'm talking about. This is absolutely perfect for what I'm talking about. So as you know, I'm a big fan of TC Helicon and the Play Acoustic. And I've used that for 10 years, all right? 10 years straight I used the Play Acoustic. Great pedal. As you can see, temporarily out of stock due to the worldwide chip shortage. Okay. So I had a few of these because I bought some of these as spares thinking I'll use this pedal the rest of my life because no one has made a better pedal, have they? It's amazing. Well, I recently started to use the Voice Live 3 Extreme. So I had a Voice Live 3 Extreme and I was thinking about selling it as well because I never used it. I only used it on live streams. But then what happened was one of my gigs, I may have spoke about this a few months ago, but one of my gigs I wanted to plug straight into the wall. I needed the line out. This one on the screen only has the mic out. So I switched to that Voice Live 3 Extreme and I've been using it ever since. So the last 3 months I've been using Voice Live 3 Extreme and I much prefer it. Okay, it's a bit bigger, but not much bigger, and a bit heavier, but not much heavier. So I've got a new bag where the Voice Live 3 Extreme fits into it and I'm much preferring it. There's so many added features that the Play Acoustic doesn't have that I'm now using. So I've heard people say that to me as well. They've said to me that they don't want to buy one because there's got to be a Voice Live 4 coming. But that's not the way it always works. I have no information on this, but I don't believe that TC Helicon are going to release a Voice Live 4 anytime soon, if at all. Because there's pretty common knowledge that the people that worked on the original products are not there anymore. There's also the chip shortage to deal with as well. And the reason that that price you got was so good for it is that there are none available. There's none in stock because of the chip shortage. So therefore, that has pushed the value up. So you can't buy one at all right now. So if you've got one that's brand new, you can charge more than new because there's none available. So that's the whole point with that. But that really leads in nicely from what I was saying earlier. These are really old technology. These are really old products, but they're still the best. So I wouldn't rush out to sell these if you think you might want them. I still have a few of these TC pedals lying around that I won't sell, because what if next year you can't buy them at all? And again, to go back to the Mayer guitar, there was a time you could buy one every week. Someone had one for sale. Now they're never for sale. So if you're sure you'll never use the Voice Live 3 Extreme or the TC Helicon pedals, if you're sure you just don't want them anymore, you're not going to sing, you don't want the harmonies, whatever, then now is a great time to sell because you'll get good price for them. But if you think you might want them one day, just consider that as well. So I've still got one play acoustic, the Voice Live 3 Extreme, the white TC pedal, the older one, the play, and two of the touches as well. So I've got two. I'm going to sell one of those touch ones, but I'm going to keep one of each because I don't see anything better. I see nothing better coming down the pipeline from anyone. No one cares about singers. They only care about guitar players. So I'm going to keep one of those each. And then if they become available again at some point, I'm going to buy another one. So because, again, talking about gear that pays the bills, because the Voice Live 3 Extreme is what I use at my solo gigs and it effectively pays the bills and I base my living around that pedal because it is the looper, it is the mixer, it is everything, a tuner, everything in one, in that one box for a solo acoustic show. Okay, the electric sounds aren't very good, but I don't use those at a solo acoustic show. There's a lot of value in that for me. So if I see another one become available on Sweetwater or somewhere, I will buy it because I need two of them. I need to have a backup in case the one I have breaks and maybe then TC Helicon can't repair it. Maybe there's no more spare parts. So because I have so much, because I'm so impressed and rely on these pedals so much for what I do, I would buy several of them when they're available again, just to make sure I have them and just stick them in the closet, because it's something that I will definitely one day use, and I'll use it to make money. So that's how I feel about that. If I wasn't a singer or did a little bit of singing here and there and didn't really care about that stuff, I would also sell them as well because there's good money right now. I think for me with the digital stuff, it's got to be something that I use all the time, right? So like my MacBook Pro, I'm using it every day. My iPhone, I use it every day. My monitor, I use it every day. So this is stuff that is effectively a waste of money one day. It'll be worthless in 10 years' time. But every day I'm using it. So it's so worth it for me right now to have it. But if you have something that you don't use, you seldom use, and it's digital, then you should probably sell it. So I understand why you sold that pedal, but it's so hard to find them right now, and that's why they're going for such high prices. So I've been looking myself. And again, of course, what's the danger? Well, the danger is that maybe someone will release something better than Voice Live 3, and I'll be stuck with a couple of pedals that I don't use. Right? Of course, that is a possibility. But I'm willing to take that risk because for years I kept saying to myself, you know what? In fact, these have gone up in price. For years I said to myself, someone is going to release a new pedal with voice effects. Of course they are. They'd be crazy not to. Well, what happened the last 5 years? Nothing. Nothing gets released because, like I said, there's not really a market for this kind of stuff. This is still kind of niche stuff, I would say. Has the price gone up? I feel like it may have done. $739. I feel like it wasn't that much before. And of course, the other danger with the current climate is those prices may go up even more. That's what I'm afraid of. Those prices might go up even more than that. They might end up being $1,000. $1,000, I still think it's worth it because I use it every day. But to some people, of course, then that's not worth it because they might just use it once a year or something. So that's where I'm at with that. Yeah, I really like this pedal. I think this is an awesome pedal. There's also trends as well, because last night I saw John Mayer. He was using the Ditto X4 pedal. Well, they're in the same boat. They're also sold out everywhere, the Ditto X4. But you just know that after last night, John Mayer used that pedal, that everyone wants to buy one now. So if you've got a mint condition Ditto X4 in the box and you put it on Reverb now, you can probably ask whatever you want for it, because someone out there is desperate to rebuild John Mayer's pedal board from the gig last night and have that pedal on the board, a nice one in new condition. So very much supply and demand for that stuff as well, isn't it? And I gotta say, it was really good to see John Mayer use a looper pedal, and it sounded great. It really, obviously he's a great player, and it was perfect to see him with a loop pedal, putting down his rhythm guitar and then soloing over it with the drummer behind him, and they kept it in time as well. It was really good. So yeah, so thanks for telling me that, because that was a great example of how a piece of gear can be, well, many things to many people, right? And I think that summed it up really well. So thanks for sharing that, and I hope you got a good price for it. Good to be online, says Patsy. The cart makes a difference for those of us who still have 2x12 tube amps. Yeah, so my tube amp that I'm using now is the Mesa 525, and it weighs about 25 pounds. So that's fantastic. Really, it sounded really great at the gig, so I'm really happy with it. Now, of course, with the small tube amp, you don't get the headroom. It's better to have a 212 amp with 100 watts, because then you got lots of clean headroom if you want it, blah, blah, blah. But again, I'm taking PA. I'm taking 4 PA speakers, cables for the PA, and the mixer. So there's already a ton of weight there. And then I've got to take the amp as well. So I was taking a 50 watt amp before, but it was just so much effort to take that PA and that amp. It wouldn't even fit on the cart altogether. So I sold that one. For a while I had the Triple Crown. Great amp, 3 channels, all the features you can imagine, really great, but it's like 54 pounds. And it's just not fun when you got to carry it. And I like the sound of the Mark amps anyway. I used to have the Mark 535, which I really liked, but I went for the 525 combo. This thing, I've had it for a while. I don't know if you've seen it behind me on the wall behind me, but the Mark 525, also, same thing with this. I bought it just before they put the prices up, so I was really happy about that as well. This is the 35 I used to have, and now I have the 25. I can't type today, excuse me. Yeah, this is a great amp, and this is what I used yesterday. The weekend. And look, if you get in at the right time, like on Sweetwater, they have these demo models. So to get one of these right now for $19.34 is really good. I think these used to be like 17. And when I got mine, it was way under $2,000. Now they're over $2,000 because of the tube shortage and the component shortage, right? But the reason I like this amp is it's a 2-channel amp. I just used 1 channel with pedals. So I just used it as a clean amp, basically. It has reverb if you want it. Again, I just used that from a pedal. It has the EQ, which is nice. You've got like a built-in EQ, so you can use that to further shape the tone if you need to. And the best thing is it only weighs, if you look down here, they give you the weight as well, 24 pounds. So it's very small. It's very compact, as you can kind of tell from the picture. It's only 24 pounds. And I also just went straight to PA because it's not crazy loud. So I also went straight out to the PA here. Look. With this one here, this Cab Clone DI. Now, actually, I just noticed something on there I want to point out. But people really slam that thing and say it sounds terrible. I thought it sounded great. It just sounded like the amp to me. And it's just an analog output. I did notice it's hard to unplug the XLR cable because the clip for the XLR cable is on the top. Well, look what they've done now. This is a new thing. You see this little arch here above the Cab Clone DI? They've actually put like an indentation into the cabinet so you can easily get the cable out. I don't think mine has that. Let's see if that's on the other ones as well. I think because the cabinet is so tiny and so compact, which I love. That's why I love it. Oh, it does have it. Maybe mine does have it. I'm not sure. But there's also a 35 as well. If you want a bit more headroom and you are only the guitarist and don't have to take PA systems, I would recommend the 35. You get 10 more watts on top, a few other features as well. Let's see if this has that too. Oh, it does. So either mine does have it, or they've just started putting that on there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can unplug it regardless. But I don't think mine does have it, because I would have noticed that it was very hard to unplug it. So yeah, so I have the 25, and then I have the extension cabinet, which is another 1x10 cabinet, which plugs in the back. And that only weighs 15 pounds. So to have a 24-pound amp in one hand and a 14-pound cab in the other hand, it feels like nothing. It feels like absolutely nothing. Whereas carrying a 54-pound huge amp feels kind of miserable, I gotta say. So that worked out really well. I recommend that. Also, having the two cabs on top of each other gives you like an amp stand, but there's two cabinets, so you get two speakers, not just one. So I have two 1x10 speakers behind me. I run that into the PA. I run that through my monitor and to the front of the house PA. It sounded great. I was really happy with it. I don't have subs. Now, a sub for a PA system adds like another 80 pounds. That's a lot of weight. I would like to have them one day, but that's, again, a big thing to take. And the other thing I'd like to do eventually maybe is try in-ear monitors with the band. Then you definitely need subs. I think it could be really cool just to go completely in-ears with the band and just have no sound on stage and everything just comes out of the PA system. But I'd have to try it. And even then, it's good to own something like this amp, because if anyone ever calls you to run out and just do a quick gig on the fly, you can just grab that amp, run out the door and do the gig. It's 24 pounds. I could even take that amp on the train and just mic it up at the venue and play through it. So it's really, really cool. I was really impressed with that rig. I sold the Fractal FM9, Fractal FM6, TC Helicon Mic Mechanic, and something else I can't remember. I bought a used Helix floor really cheap. So David's doing the buying and selling too, you see. Now I do that too, David. I'm looking at it all the time as well for a good used guitar. Last night I was on Guitar Center. Should we go to Guitar Center now? You know, I don't mind doing this at all, because this is what I'd be doing if we weren't online, right? And I don't want to give you all my secrets, but you know, last night I was on here and I have a few searches that I do, one of which is John Mayer. And what I like to do on Guitar Center, I don't usually buy new from Guitar Center. I do on a couple of things. I bought a wireless system recently because I wanted their insurance. Now, most people say, including myself, don't buy their insurance. It's a terrible waste of money. But my wireless Sennheiser little bug thing that I have, the XSW, died on me, the one I got from Sweetwater. And as much as I love Sweetwater, they and Sennheiser could not replace it under the warranty that I had on it. It was too old. But I just felt I hadn't used it. So I bought the next one from Guitar Center and I got the warranty for 3 years. I've just got a feeling that thing will die in 2 years' time and I can get a new one and just lose that $70 rather than having to buy a whole new system. But that's a topic for another day. So if you jump on here and type in things like this, if you go all the way to the end of the used section, you can sometimes find some really good, interesting stuff that might have slipped through the net. So take a look at this, for example. I mean, first of all, why are there so many Silver Skies on the market right now? It's kind of crazy, right? This is an SE. So, I mean, the SE Silver Sky isn't that old. There's a used one here, 749. And, you know, you might find a color that you can't get anymore. The problem with Guitar Center, I'm sure you know, is that the pictures are terrible. Terrible pictures. You click on a picture, the first thing you get is this like blurred picture. It takes forever to load. And then when it does load, well, look, that's it. That's all you get. You get one picture taken by someone's cell phone. You know, that is not Sweetwater, is it? I thought I could make it bigger. Yeah, and when you make it bigger, it's like the same size, isn't it? If you zoom in. You know, it's just really, really unhelpful. You can't see the condition. You can't really see any scratches. So last night I found the John Mayer Fender. I used to have, so talking about gear we buy and sell, I had one of those years ago. I had two of them. I sold them both. Then they discontinued them because John went to PRS. I tried these Silver Skies. I'm not the biggest fan of them at the moment. Not really my thing. But I did the same thing yesterday. I was thinking, I missed that John Mayer Fender. And I found one on here last night that says excellent, in excellent condition, no signs of wear or damage. So I did order that one, but here's the thing. If it's in any way not in that condition, I'm just going to take it back to Guitar Center. So all I'll lose from that, and that's actually a really good price. It was $2,000. They go for $3,000 now on Reverb. So here's what I'm thinking. Either it'll be in great condition, it will be as good as I remember, and I will keep that guitar as a guitar that I want to play, and maybe as like an investment collector's piece, because they won't make them anymore. Or it won't be in the condition they stated, because you can't see on the photographs very well. And I shall take it back to my local Guitar Center for a full refund, which I think is fair enough, because they haven't, they've said it's in perfect condition and it's not. Well, yeah, that's the two outcomes. And then, well, we'll see. I'll let you know. I should have that by next week, so I'll let you know on my next stream what happens with that guitar. I've got a bad feeling that it won't be in the condition they said it'll be in. But if it is in the condition they said it'll be in, I think I'm going to clean it up and put that with my that'll be one of my guitars that I keep, one of my keepers. But we'll see. I don't like to talk down about Guitar Center because I've had some really good stuff from them. The Martin Aura guitar that I got was in perfect condition. It had one scratch on the neck, which is incredible for a 15-year-old guitar. So there are some cool things to find. And then like what David was saying, if you can find something that is desirable and just needs a bit of work and cleaning up, then you can sell it on. So you can enjoy it for a year or something and then sell it on. Because limited edition gear is annoying because the fact it's limited edition means they put the price really high because they know they can, because they're going to sell them. There's not many of them. But at the same time, the good thing is, I suppose, they will not make any more of them. You'll never get another John Mayer Fender guitar ever again. So if you can find one that's in mint condition, then you should keep it. Or like me with that one, I shouldn't have sold that one. Or the minute they announced that John Mayer was leaving Fender, I should have bought all the John Mayer guitars I could possibly afford and find. There was a store just before that time that sold like 10 of them, I think. They had like 10 in stock. So that was the time. Now that every year that goes by, it's just harder and harder to find the guitars because they're not around anymore. So sometimes you find that cool stuff here. Once I found a limited edition Martin here as well. It was a George Martin. Let me just show you that, for example. So Martin guitar. And Lee might be jealous because he can't do this in the UK because I'm on Guitar Center. It's an American company. So, a bit like on Sweetwater, if you search for the guitar, you can then come down here and search for used. So there's more used guitars for Martin than there are new at Guitar Center. And then you can search by the highest price. Okay, so now you get the interesting stuff. So here's a $38,000 guitar. This is a 1946. Let me just move myself out of the way. This is a 1946 D28 to D45 conversion. That's interesting. So it's a D28 that was converted into a D45. I'd have to know the story on this one. I don't really understand because it looks like really good condition, doesn't it? But what's up with that? That's a 46 Martin. That looks like a new Martin. I don't know. Anyway, let's go on to another one. So here's a 1980 D45. Interesting. 1980 D45 for $8,000. Okay. But my point with this really is you may find something quirky and interesting. So for example, here's a custom shop Dreadnought. So if you ordered this custom shop Dreadnought now, you pay a lot of money for it, right? But you can find one used. I would just double check everything to make sure it is what they say it is, because you never know. I want to see the serial number and that kind of stuff too. But you can find some interesting things here. Yeah, I once found a George Martin. So that the Beatles producer had his own Martin signature. And I didn't buy it. And they basically told me that it's like it's mint condition. Mint condition and really good price. I don't know why I didn't take a chance on that one. Especially when it was from Guitar Center. There we go. That was a long time ago. Before I was really into Martin as much as I am now. So yeah, so this is just fun stuff to do. And on some websites, you can also set up a search as well. I know a lot of people that have searches set up on some websites to tell them when a certain guitar is coming up for sale or something like that. So I just usually type in what I'm looking for. And this is how I found that Aura guitar as well. I think I just searched for Martin Aura. And there we go. That is the guitar. So here's another one. This is another one. So this is the guitar that I bought. This one says great condition. That means it'll have scratches on it. You can see someone's installed an armrest, which means that it's going to have been used. Most likely someone's gigged this guitar. So it might have fret wear. It's going to have scratches. So again, you see, I just think that's too much. It's $2,000 for that. And like I said, they are great guitars, but once that pickup dies, you're then stuck with a guitar where the pickup doesn't work anymore, and you'll have holes in the side of the guitar where the pickup used to reside. So that's not perfect, is it? Then again, if you love this model and you want one of these and you want to start gigging it right now, it's worth getting it, isn't it? Because you're going to use it. And if the pickup does die, you can just put something else in there. So it's not the end of the world. But, you know, some of these listings do make me laugh, unfortunately, because this is not what it pertains to be. This is not a GBC or a GT acoustic electric guitar. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Now, the question with this one is, if you order this guitar, do you receive a GBC Martin Aura GT, or do you receive this guitar in the photograph? I'm not going to try it, but there we go. For me, there's another one. You see, this one's also in great condition, and this one is $1,800. So I don't understand why one of them is $200 cheaper when they're both great condition. And this one has a few more photographs as well. They're still not very good photographs, but there's more photographs. Is that cracked down the center? That looks like it might be cracked. You see in the center join there? And all it says is, little signs of use. All controls are completely functional. It may have minor surface scratches. That could just be a reflection, or it could be an actual crack. So again, the only way that Guitar Center get around this is that if you do get it and it is a crack, you can just say, hey, there's a crack in here, I want my money back. So that's how they get around it. But it's just a shame they don't do nicer pictures and things and more details, because then you would actually know what you're getting without having to take that chance on it. But I guess I see both sides, because like with Sweetwater, you're basically paying them to take those photographs, aren't you? That's part of the value you're getting, the fact that they're giving you professionally shot photographs. But yeah, interesting. So there's a few of those on the market right now. I'm sure there's others on Reverb as well. Don't know why I'm just using this as an example. Okay, here's a good example. $3,500. Now, and here's one for 22. You see, so the price seems to be 1,800 to 22 on this guitar. I'm not sure what they were when they were released, but why is this one so much money? So I think this is someone that just wants to capitalize on this, right? Or does it come with the amp as well? No, it doesn't. So that's kind of bad too, isn't it? Like, don't put a picture of the amp in here, because I assume it comes with the amp, but it doesn't come with the amp. It's just the guitar. Okay, they're in Peru, so maybe that explains some of it. That also means you're gonna have to spend $150 on shipping. That's a lot of money right there as well. You're gonna have to pay import tax, maybe things like that. So that you factor those things in as well, like import taxes if you're buying from certain places. But yeah, I don't think that. I see that for me, that's just someone that doesn't really want to sell it and put a high price on it. If that was mint and 25 or 3, I'd be like, okay, fair enough. But if you want to buy one of those, you're better off to take a risk on the one from Guitar Center, I think. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? You just got to do your homework with this stuff. I think that's what it comes down to. Doing your homework. But that's what I normally do on these sites. I normally just search for artists and guitars I'm interested in, see what comes up. So I have one of these. I have this Noel Gallagher. And yeah, it's good to know. Like my guitar was what, 4,000 or 5,000. This is 10,000, but they haven't sold it. So it doesn't mean that it is worth 10,000. If I wanted to sell mine right now, what would I list it for? 10,500. Well, no, because this one hasn't sold for 10,500, and this one is mint condition like mine is. They put mint used. That's yeah. So that's what mine is, mint condition used. So if I wanted to sell mine quickly, obviously I put it on for 6. But the most sensible thing for me to do is to put mine on for 9,500, right? So it's $1,000 cheaper than theirs, maybe free shipping, and then start from there. But it'll be interesting to see if this one sells. Although I don't see myself selling mine because I really like the guitar. I really like it. That's the kind of thing I'd sell it and would regret it. Maybe, maybe not. But for me, that's a reason not to sell it. All right. Oh, God. Yeah, we are joking, David, but it's amazing how some people do think if you sell something for more than you paid for it, you're a scalper. That's not fair. I mean, what is a scalper? A scalper to me is somebody who buys something with the sole intention of selling it. That's a scalper. And even then, is that wrong? Is that bad? I don't know. Maybe it's not. It seems to be the norm these days. Poo Ninja says, very cool cart. I built my mobile DJ rig laptop to be rolled in, and second cart to bring in the speakers. Easy load in, load. Yeah, very important stuff. Jim, how you doing? Yes, I bought 2 guitars from Reverb. They were good, and Reverb was easy to use and make offers, etc. Yeah, Reverb is great. Yes, the prices have gone up over time, but they're really great, and they also stand by you as well. I've done loads of sales. I had an amp supposedly show up broken in California, and they paid the person off to have it fixed or whatever they wanted. They gave them money because I paid for the insurance. And a little while ago, I got a guitar that showed up, and the first couple of days I didn't notice it was cracked, but it was actually cracked on top. Very small crack that maybe doesn't even really matter, but I realized it was cracked, and I thought, well, this was obviously happened in shipping or from the store. So I contacted Reverb, and they gave me like a really good partial refund. And I said, you know what? If I'm buying new, I don't want any cracks, so I want a full refund. So I believe they paid the shipping for the store for me to get the guitar back to them, and then the store refunded me. So they are excellent at that. It really is a great place. And yes, you pay for their service, but it's a really good service for me so far. Am I still sharing videos of folks and their guitars? Of course, this is a free-for-all, Jim. If you got something to share, then please share it. I mean, I'm sharing myself with you on this stream. I'm telling you what I'm doing in my life, and buying and selling, and my mistakes and my wins. So I invite you to do the same thing, Jim. The email address is sayhi@aaronshortmusic.com. You can send anything you'd like as long as it's clean. And you can, by all means, play a piece of music, but do me a favor, do one that's not a cover. Like, send me something original, or just playing random chords or something, something you've written yourself. Or just show us like, hey, I just bought this and this is great. Or I just bought this and this is not great. Or I'm having a problem with this, and anyone got any ideas how to make it better? That'd be nice. Then that's not just me sitting here talking the whole time. And it makes me feel better too, because I'm not going to sit here and say, I just sold this and bought this, and I just sold this and bought this, and I just sold this, but I bought this. You make me feel better about myself. Okay. This is great. I'm enjoying. I'm going to go on a little bit longer today, because last week we just did Rain Song. So I want to just make sure I did all the questions today. So yeah, definitely send any video you want to send. I can play on the channel, as long as there's no copyrighted material in it. I can play it. And yeah, let's say everything too. Like, don't just send me like, I've got this guitar and I love it. Also send me, I've got this guitar and I've got a problem with it, or I've got this mixer and I don't know how the best way to do this, or I just bought this piano and I don't like I mean, I guess don't name names and stuff like that, but you know, like let's open it up to more than just show and tell of acoustic guitars. Let's have any kind of gear related things, because I get them all the time. I just had something come up today that I'm going to have to send something back, and you know, it's good to discuss that stuff, I think. People have been saying there's a Voice Live 4 coming for at least 5 years. Yes, people have, David. People, I know the people you're talking about as well. But the thing about TC Helicon is they had the original crew that made those products. And then when Behringer bought them, I'm not saying it's good or bad, it is what it is. But when they bought them, and maybe it's unrelated, but they bought them and then a lot of those people left or were let go. So who now is actually going to make those new products? And let's say there is a Voice Live 4 that they just didn't release. That's possible as well. There's been one on the workbench. Are they even able to release it now with the chip shortage and all this kind of stuff? I just think, I get it. I get frustrated when people say to me, I'm not going to buy the Voice Live 3 now because there might be a new one coming. There'll be a new one coming next year. I totally get that way of thinking. But at the same time, if something is really great and you can use it today at your gigs and have success, you should get it. I think the other side of that is something like the Quad Cortex, where I was like, I'm going to buy it now and it'll be really good next year when they release the new firmware. See, that's dangerous, because if that means the way it is now, you can't actually use it, that's dangerous, right? Because it'll just sit on the side of the bench and not be used. The great thing with and the Kemper too, the Kemper, the Voice Live 3, they're ready to go. They're mature and they're ready to rock and make money with. And that's a really good thing. So I'm not pointing fingers. I love the Quad Cortex, but yes, there's more can be done with it. I love the Voice Live 3, but yes, it's kind of at the end of its life. But none of those things are good or bad for either product. It just is what it is. For me, it's really about, am I going to use this thing? And the Voice Live 3 Extreme, I'm now using every gig. So there we go. That's a really worthwhile purchase. I like those purchases. I don't like purchases like the Rodecaster Pro, where I loved it and I'm using it, telling everyone to buy one, and then realize that I can't record with it in Logic because the latency is horrible. And now I'm probably going to sell mine. Probably lose a bit of money on it. That sucks. That's not a good investment. Obviously, I've lost money. I've lost time. So the tried and tested stuff is good. The cutting edge stuff is good if you don't rely on it. Like, I love the Quad Cortex, but I'm not taking it out to gigs. I love it as a thing that I just use for playing the amps and the effects at home. And I see using it at gigs in the future. But a product has to give you something back, right? Otherwise, you just wasted your money. That's a horrible feeling when you just throwing money away. He said the TC Harmony pedals still track and sound better than anything else I've tried. I have the VE8 on the board and I live in Florida. It isn't near as good. Yeah, I tried the VE8. The VE8 I tried from Boss too. I didn't like it. Yes, the TC Helicon pedals are just out of this world. That Voice Live 3 is out of this world. I really should make videos on it, because I just think it's amazing. Hi, Indy. How you doing? Thanks for joining. I see you're new here. Oh, I've got my info box turned off. That's why I didn't see you subscribe. I'll turn that on. Just got the JBL PRX1 because of you. Awesome. Congratulations. And how is it going? Are you happy with your purchase? Did the app work for you straight away? You know, this technology stuff is difficult, isn't it? Because I go on there on the Facebook group for JBL sometimes and someone says, oh, the app didn't connect. Yeah, but what phone do you have? Have you got a really old phone? Have you restarted the phone? There's so many, with apps and handheld devices like phones and iPads, there's so many links in the chain where things can go wrong. That can be a problem. So let us know if that's working well for you. TC H1 Harmony pedal versus Harmony Singer 2. The HS2 adds reverb and delay. I don't think I ever saw the TC H1 Harmony pedal. Did I? TC Helicon Harmony. I mean, there's the GXT I had years ago. That's a really old pedal. Kind of a cool pedal. and it has more features because it has the 2 foot switches. So there's this one here. That is a cool pedal. And then there's the Harmony Singer 2. But the Harmony Singer 2, I still have one of these. I'll definitely keep one of these around because these are cool. But it doesn't have the 2 buttons. It only has the 1 button. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I prefer the Harmony Singer 2, but only if you just want to basically have vocal tone all the time and one harmony on or off. If you're going to do that, then it's a great pedal. If you want to have the 2 foot switches, then you got to go for the other one. Yeah. Jim says, has anyone here bought a used guitar through Sweetwater? Sweetwater's new site looks like competition for Reverb. That's right. So Sweetwater are now basically trying to go up against Reverb in a way by having their own used section. Now, this isn't actually anything new. They've had this used site for a long time, and I've tried to sell stuff through it, and I couldn't. It was like people didn't reply. It wasn't actively being used. So it feels like now they're trying to get it used more in order to get more traction. The reason that Reverb is so good is that there's loads of stuff on there, right? Even the stores are on there. So even like Alamo Music, their inventory is on Reverb a lot of the time. Some stores don't do that because they lose money when they sell through Reverb, but there's just so much on there. It's crazy. The problem when you go to the Gear Exchange on Sweetwater is that if we search over here for, say, John Mayer, we're not going to find nearly the amount of inventory that we... Oh, he says too quickly. No, you're not going to find as much on here as you do definitely on Reverb, but even like Guitar Center. So look, they do have one of these John Mayer Strats here, but this one is $2,900. This is $1,000 more and $200 in shipping. Okay, so that's a lot of money. That's $1,000 more than the one on Guitar Center. The only good thing about this one is the pictures are very good. Actually, the condition looks to be very good. Let's check this out quickly. Checking this out for myself. Apologies. You can see some scratches on the back as you would expect from a belt buckle or something. I think, unless that's the light. It's hard to tell sometimes, isn't it, from photographs, like dings and things like that. Yeah, it looks really good. Description's better too. Southern California, local pickup. Make me an offer, I might say yes. Excellent condition. Frets don't show wear. Fretboard in pristine condition. That's the other thing. What people do with these guitars is the pickups were limited edition and you couldn't buy them. So people would buy these and take out the pickups and then put in other pickups and then sell this guitar for, say, $2,000 and then sell the pickups for, say, $500 or $1,000. So when you get one of these, you have to take the pick guard off and make sure each pickup says JM, JM, JM on it. Otherwise, you haven't got the actual guitar. So that's the real drag. Now, that could be with any guitar, but especially true with the John Mayer guitars. But, you know, again, all these John Mayers in excellent condition are $3,000. So it's just, I don't know, it's just a lot of money for... we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, I'm glad they're doing this, and I believe they don't charge you a fee if you then spend the money that you're paid back on the Sweetwater site, which is kind of cool if you shop at Sweetwater a lot, which I do. So that could work out nicely too. But like I said, they're really up against things because they don't have the amount of inventory that somewhere like Reverb has. If you search for Martin guitar on Reverb, you're going to get thousands of guitars come up, right? If you search for Martin on here, I mean, let's see, 2 pages. It's not great. But, you know, it's another place to look. It's another place to come and do your researching late at night when you're surfing the web. And I'm not sure why Yamaha comes up when I search for Martin, but you never know. You might find something that you were just looking for that's really rare. You might just find it there. I mean, like TC Helicon. Here we go. Whoa. Ah, it's the Voice Live 2. Oh, here we go. So here's a mint Voice Live 3, 640 shipping. So this is actually cheaper than they are now on Sweetwater's site. Okay. And it says it's mint. Let's see here. Never used, brand new, only have taken out the box to look at the item. So if this really is a mint, and do they charge tax? I presume they do. But 640 for that, if it really is mint, is awesome. Simply because if you buy a Voice Live 3 from Sweetwater, from the main site, but when they finally have them in stock, which they don't at the moment, Voice Live 3, I think I told you the price before, it's really high compared to that. $739, right, free shipping. So basically, yeah, $100 off, and you can have it today. Whereas you can't have it today if you don't do it like that. The other site that I check sometimes is Thomann, because that was $739 on Sweetwater. But on Thomann, Voice Live, here we go. Thomann, $589, but they don't have any. Again, they don't have any in stock. So this says accept offer. So what I would do on this one is I'd say, will you take $550? I mean, hey, there we go. Very good. Very good. So maybe I should list some of my stuff available on this site too. Maybe that's a good idea. But like I said, they don't have the range and the reach of Reverb. And Reverb is also worldwide as well, which is cool. All right. Let's go to another question. Oh, something else I saw today. I got an email that the Quad Cortex is in stock. Let's see if they sold out already. So this morning, these were available on the site. These have never been available to buy on the site. No, I think they sold out. So there we go. Stuff is still selling, but who knows why and when and what and how, for what reason. So have I ever bought a used guitar through Sweetwater? And yeah. Well, there's two things though. Do you mean like the demo models? Demo models can be cool. You save a little bit of money. I think I'd rather get a new one. But the actual used site we just looked at, I haven't used it. I don't know. I think they need to really flesh that out to make that compete with Reverb, but we'll see. It'd be good if they did, because competition's a good thing. So Indie Cinetone says, I want to be a solo performer soon. I played the band for almost 15 years. Bit tired of people around me. Do you think it's a good idea? I'm a Filipino. I live in Thailand. Yeah. You see, I'm the opposite. I've been playing solo gigs for a long time. And let's move up here. I've been playing solo gigs for a long time, and I'm enjoying playing in the band now. When I play in the band, I take a full PA system. But I do solo gigs to pay the bills, because it's much easier to go out and do a solo gig 5 nights a week than it is to play band gigs 5 nights a week, at least if you want to make any money from it, right? So I'm the opposite, but I like both things. But yeah, PRX1, I tell you what, I mean, PRX1 and a Play Acoustic or a Voice Live 3 Extreme and a good pickup system in your guitar, that's all you need. You can pay the bills with that easily. Oh, David, I might take that off you. Give me a call. I was looking for the X4. I thought, oh, I'm going to do a video about the Ditto X4 because John Mayer used it on his board. So you see, now I shot myself in the foot, because now I've told you that John Mayer used the X4 and there's none available, and it's worth what the market will pay. He's now going to be putting that up for triple the price. And if I just messaged him and said, hey, you got a Ditto X4 knocking around, I can give you $100 for, he probably would have said yes. Epic fail. Epic fail. Have I got that sound effect here? That's not it. I wanted the wow, 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 wow. Okay. David has the Mesa Boogie Transatlantic 212 combo. I also have the TA30 head. And yeah, they're really good. The Mesa stuff is really, really good, but some of them are really heavy as well. If I find a guitar I really want, I'll come and buy it. Rosanna will pay. Rosanna pays for everything. What's going on here? She's even going to buy me my next guitar. What's going on? Any D35. Staley likes the D35. You know, I had one of the reimagined D35s a few years ago, and I didn't like it. I found it really tight, just really weird sounding. And then just before I sold it, someone played it at me. They played it for me, and I thought it sounded great. But when I played it, I just thought it sounded like it was choked, you know, at D35. So yeah. GPC Special Rosewood 16. Yeah, that's Guitar Center make their special editions. They call them special, but they're just they're usually like mid-spec, low to mid-spec guitars that they spec out. Usually like mortise and tenon bracing, neck joint. They're not my favorite Martins, but they do fit. They fit that price point. You know, they're usually $1 to $2 grand, where the standard series now are $2 to $4 grand. So they fit that price range where you can walk into Guitar Center and say, "There's a Martin," and it says special on it. It must be special. It just means that they've ordered them with their own specs, basically. Not to put them down, but you know, that's what they are. The Fender Telecaster Affinity 4-string has increased in price. Thoughts? I don't know what you're talking about. Tenor Telecaster Fender. Oh, the Tenor Telly. I've never seen that. Huh. Look at that. A Tenor Telly. Really interesting. Wow. Would I buy one of those? Probably not. But I'm just not, like, I have one ukulele. I'm not really into like ukuleles and 12-string. I'm into 6-string standard tuning acoustics and electrics, really. But increased in price. Well, everything's increased in price. Martins have increased in price a lot. Fender have increased in price a lot. The bananas today have increased. We just went grocery shopping and I picked up the bag of frozen bananas and strawberries. And we get to checkout and I'm like, why are we spending so much money? $20. Now, I'm not complaining, right? It's a big bag of frozen bananas and strawberries. That's fine. But that's definitely gone up. Definitely gone up $5 in the last 2 years. And then Martin guitars, the standard series now of $3,400. I mean, I remember when they were like $2,650, $28. Now they're $34. So again, I don't sound like I'm complaining because that's what it sounds like, but that just is the way it is. But this looks really cool, but it's just not something that I would pick up and grab. I'm very boring in that way, but I just love the 6-string acoustic and electric guitars. But I'm glad that Fender do stuff like this because it's interesting. It's interesting stuff. Okay. Scalper is the same thing as flipping a sale for profit. Same thing as flipping a sale for profit. Well, we do sell to make a profit, don't we? Like I said, I feel like this is something that's very personal to people. Some people probably feel that they should buy something and sell it for what they paid for it. Before the lockdown, it was a thing if we buy something and it's then worth 50% of its value. And then once stuff became unavailable, it had more value. The way I do it now is I like I said earlier, I go on the websites, I search for what it's selling for its current value and sell it at that value. So the price is kind of set by the market, isn't it? Is that good or bad? I don't know. That's a whole debate right there. It's a whole discussion. But that's how I do it. And I guess the thing is, people don't have to pay it, right? We don't have to buy anything. No one has to buy anything if they don't want to. Yeah, discuss amongst yourself. Some of this stuff is personal. All I can tell you is the way I do it, and sometimes I even question myself as well. That's why I talk to my friends about it. I'm like, I've got this thing that someone else is selling for 600, so I priced it for 550, and someone just measured me and told me I should sell it to them for the original price less the used value, which is 200. So what do I do? And then I've got a feeling if I do sell it to them for 200, they're then going to sell it anyway. I've done that in the past as well. I've sold stuff for a fair discount where I just wanted to move it on to free up some cash, and I've then seen them relist it as a new guitar. That's bad, because that's a lie, right? That's lying. You shouldn't lie about stuff. That's not fair. If you say, look, there's one of these left, and you can have it, but I want this amount of money. That's up to you. Either buy it or you don't. It's not life and death. It's a guitar. That's one thing. But if you sell something new, knowing that it's not new, that's bad. I see a lot of listings like that as well, where the listing is just not good, not accurate. When I buy used from Guitar Center, I call the store that has it first and have a salesman check it for me. Now, I do that as well. That's what I did with the Rain Song that I bought. No, that's what I did with the Martin Aura that I bought. I had them look at it, tell me any issues, photograph it with their own phone, and send me the pictures. But that takes a long time. And in the time that you've done that, someone in the USA could have already bought the product. So that's why with this one last night, because it was the middle of the night and there's no one at work, I thought if I wait till the morning and call them, someone else might buy it. So I thought, I'm going to do this as an experiment. I'm going to take a chance here. They've said it's excellent condition. The price is really fair. Let's try it. Let's see how they ship it. Because I've had a few things shipped really badly from Guitar Center. But I've also had things shipped really badly from lots of companies. And I feel like with the Guitar Center, they're all different, aren't they? You can't just say Guitar Center is this. The Guitar Centers are many stores. There's many of them. So how is that employee at that Guitar Center? How have they listed that item? How are they shipping that item? So I'll use this one as an experiment for us. We'll see. I'll let you know next week if this worked out or not. Of course, even if it does work out, that doesn't mean it'll work out for you, but it'll just be interesting to see what actually shows up. And then either way, I'll be fine because if it's not what they said, I can take it back. And if it is what they said, I'm going to keep it because I want it, because you can't get them anymore. So that should work out either way. And no, I'm not buying it to scalp it either, before anyone says anything. Oh, I won something from Hercules. Well, do tell, David. Do tell. Come on. He also traded the used American Acoustasonic for a USA PRS McCarty. Wow. Next week's show will be David giving buying and selling tips live on Aaron Short Music on YouTube. Yeah, well, don't say that. What, David? What if that person's watching now? You got to be careful, What if they're watching the show? Oh, that David, I'll go give him a piece of my mind. That's the other thing when you buy and sell stuff. Be careful what you share in the videos you make about it as well. Like, oh yeah, I just sold that guitar for that I paid $10 for $10,000. I mean, I guess that's still fair enough, isn't it? But maybe it's rubbing it in a little bit if you say it on a video. I don't know. Very, very much. I love the JBL PRX1. Awesome. Good to hear. I don't use the app. I know it's crappy. No, it's not. It's not. It's mouse. Hang on. It's not crappy anymore. It was crappy. Yeah, I'll say it. It was crappy. No, it wasn't. It wasn't even crappy. It was frustrating. And now it's not frustrating. So download the app and try it. It's good. It's good to use the app, It makes life a lot easier. The Yamaha AG06 my backing track. I want to have cymbals I can. Plug electric guitar with amp simulator. Yep. Yeah, that's cool too. So you play the backing track, you run your guitar straight in with an amp simulator, and you play over the top, and the PRX1 does all your mixing. The mix is built in. Yep, very cool. Rosanna says, to me, a scalper is someone who pre-orders multiples of something before release, like a PS5, and then waits to sell them for double the price once they have sold out. Yes, yes, absolutely right. That's terrible. I would never do something like that. I would never do something like that. But just kidding. No, it is terrible. Like PS5. You couldn't buy one. You still can't walk into a store and buy a PS5 now. And it's like that Noel Gallagher guitar. They made 300. You just know that like 150 people that ordered those guitars have no intention of even playing the thing or even opening the case. They're just buying it and putting it away as an investment to resell. Now, is that bad then? If you buy something and sell it in 10 years' time and you basically sat on it and then sold it for a profit, is that a scalper? Or is a scalper someone that buys something day one and resells it day two or even day one? To me, a scalper is someone that thinks, right, the PS5's coming out. I'm going to order one from every store I possibly can, and then I'm going to start selling them the next day myself for a profit. To me, that's a scalper. Like, with this Noel Gallagher guitar, like, I know I want it. I also know it's worth a lot of money. I might need to resell it. So again, if I need to sell it in the future, I will sell it for the current market value. I'm not going to sell it for what I paid for it. I'm going to sell it at the current market value. But if I thought for a split second when I bought it, I might do that in a few years' time, does that make me a scalper? I don't know. That's really up for debate, isn't it? All right, cheers, David. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. Whatever you won. You didn't even tell us. You said that you won something, and then you went downstairs for dinner. That's just mean, David. Come on. Yeah, exactly. David's buying the guitars for everybody there. Thanks, man. I used the on-song backing track because of you. Awesome. Okay, great. Oh, very good. Very good. Yeah. Yeah, I love that too. So I had this wedding this weekend, so I put all the songs in, and if I needed the chords, I put the lyrics and the chords. The one thing I forgot to do, and I'll share this with you because you can't forget anything with a gig. One thing I forgot to do, I did everything I wanted to do, but I didn't put those songs into the set list order. So when it came to playing the next song, I did have to go up and search for it, which takes a few seconds. That's not good. Use the set list feature in OnSong to go in there and make an actual set list and stick to it. And then if you're using the backing tracks, you can have them in order as well. Maybe the backing tracks are saved in OnSong because it does that too, which is nice. But you want to be slick, you know? And the other thing is that Bluetooth air turn pedal is awesome because it can be on the floor and you haven't even got to touch the phone. You literally just have your set list already programmed in, start the first song, hit the button on the pedal, it will take you to the next song at the end of the previous song. So you haven't even got to touch your phone or iPad at all. It does it all wirelessly. That's a really good product as well. Let me just show you that on the screen. AirTurn. Go. This one. This is a new version too. They just released this updated version. The BT500S2 foot controller. So it's great. It's simple. The battery lasts forever. You can connect it to your iPhone, your iPad, and then you literally just hit the button and it takes you to the next song on OnSong without touching the device. So these little things like that just make things very smooth and professional. You know? So Jim asked about Fender. This is really interesting. So I didn't talk about this because I think it was Dylan Talks Tone, who's been on here, friend of the channel, mentioned this happened in the video and it went on all the news, which is great. You know, it's great that he let everyone know this information and transparency is good. Fender I don't think made an announcement about it. I have no real thought about it because we know that demand went up in the lockdown and people got hired, and we know that can't be sustained if demand doesn't stay up there, and demand hasn't stayed up there, it seems, with guitars, especially with the prices of everything and all that kind of stuff, whatever, but that was going to happen. But what shocked me the most, and of course, I don't want to sound cold, by the way, of course I sympathize for the people that lost their jobs. It's a terrible thing, but I've seen people say they won't buy Fender, won't play Fender anymore. I don't feel like that. I just think I'm trying to see both sides. I'm sure it's easy to say it's a big company and they've got shareholders, they've got to please and these kind of things, and that is true as well. But it is what it is. And I was, oh, thank you. Appreciate you subscribing. I just feel like I was kind of waiting for that. You know, every time we had a company on here and I would say to them, I keep hearing that sales are up and up and up. What's happening? They would say to me things like, someone would say, if we hire more people, we have to lay them off when it slows down. And I think Fender probably just got so slammed for new guitars because they're Fender. And when people think of learning electric guitar, they think of Fender. They probably did hire too many people, and they probably did have to lay some of them off. And it's sad, but I don't know the full ins and outs. I don't know if they actually fired them forever or did a temporary cutback. I don't know the ins and outs, and Fender didn't make an official statement. I don't even know if it really happened, although I've seen people say they're employees and they got laid off. But there was another news article about it where I was really shocked because it wasn't just people on the factory floor. It was also the executives, some of the high up people as well. And one of the guys that's responsible for the Acoustasonic is someone that was let go. Now, again, I don't know the ins and outs. Maybe he was leaving anyway. Maybe he left. I don't know. Maybe it's not even true. I don't know any of that stuff. So I don't want to comment on it and get any facts wrong. But I was very surprised when I heard that because I thought to myself, Fender had a really incredible year. They said the best year they've ever had. The Acoustasonic, although some people love it and some people hate it, has sold many units, according to Fender. And why would they be lying? Because they keep releasing new models. You don't keep releasing new models of a guitar if it doesn't sell, right? If the first Acoustasonic didn't sell, they would have quietly discontinued it, but just kept that one around a few years and discontinued it. They released the Strat version. They released the Jazzmaster version. They released the import version. They've now released the Mahogany version. So no big updates, but they've kept it alive this long. So I thought, why is he gone? If a product that he helped to develop is so successful, why did he go? And that's really interested me. And again, I feel bad that he's not there anymore, lost and not working there. I'm sure he'll go on to other great things. I think he was at Taylor, now then he was at Fender. Now I'm sure he'll go on to other great things in his own right. These things happen in life, right? I get it, but I wonder, aside from that, what will happen with the Acoustasonic now, because if the person that developed the product is no longer there, does that mean they wanted different things from that product? Are they going to go in a different direction with the product or not? It'd be interesting to see, but I really don't understand that at all when they said they had such a good year. It would be nice to hear from Fender officially what actually happened and why that happened. But that's why I've not said anything about it, because I don't know. But there's certainly a lot of change coming for everything now, isn't there? I presume. I don't think Fender will be the last company to do that either, because I just can't believe that guitars and things will keep selling the way they have been in the lockdown, because even the fact that people have gone back to work and gone back to going on cruises and vacations, they don't have the time now to sit and play the guitar like they did when we were locked down. When we were locked down, it was crazy, wasn't it? I just remember getting up, making a video, going to bed, ordering whatever food we could possibly get here from the local store, going live, because we had that time to do that stuff. Lee said, I've got 299 Noel Gallagher's. I want the last one. I'm having a problem Google Drive in my computer, but on my phone is there already. AirTurn. Yeah, I really recommend you get this AirTurn pedal for your shows, definitely. Very, very good to have. Having a problem Google Drive in my computer, but my phone is there already. I'm not sure, but do make sure you back up your songs, because it takes a long time to put those songs into OnSong. So do make sure you save a backup somehow. And if you've got any trouble with that, email OnSong. They're very good at support. All right, looks like we've got one more here from William. Then I have to go and ship something that I sold. What am I using for live streaming setup? Well, that's a big topic, William. But I'll just give you my rundown. personally feel the most important thing, first of all, what's the most important thing for a live stream? I would say the sound if you're doing music. So I have the Apollo Twin. I abandoned the Rodecaster. It's not bad, but it doesn't do everything. It doesn't do the recording aspect. To be fair, it's not really meant for that, but I wanted one thing to do everything. So the Apollo Twin does everything. So the Apollo Twin is a great thing to have. And I have a shotgun mic above my head. So I get very good audio. I can plug the guitars in. You hear them very well. I've got plugins. It's not the most cost-effective way of doing things, but it's a great hub of a musician's thing because it does recording, streaming, everything else. So you've got the Apollo Twin, or at least a decent audio interface, and the microphone. The Apollo Twin also has the noise gate. I think the noise gate is very important if you live in an apartment or something like that. Maybe if you live in the countryside, it doesn't matter. That's the first thing. Then you need a decent camera. You have a decent camera on your cell phone. I use a DSLR. I've got the A7C Sony. I've got two of them, one for guitar shot and one this main shot. Then aside from the camera, the really important thing to go with the camera is the lights. So I've got two Elgato lights behind the camera on my face, so it lights up my face. They are really annoying because they're Wi-Fi activated and they keep losing connection. But aside from that, they're very compact and take up little space. I just wish they could make that Wi-Fi thing work better, but you can use any good light. You want big, like the big lights from Amazon, they're quite cheap, those ones. The big ones you put behind the camera. So they really light up the room. And then even an iPhone will look good, but the DSLRs look really good. And then the DSLR can be connected to your computer via HDMI. You can use Mac or PC. I like Mac. The new M1 Macs are amazing because they're really powerful and they're really quiet. And that's important. You don't want to add noise into the live stream. So something like an M1 MacBook Pro or a Mac Mini M1 is amazing for this. Then I have that connected to a display, of course. I need my display, but if you have you might not need that. You might just have your laptop. So you can really grow this out. What you need is good sound and a good laptop to handle the streaming, and good internet connection. And then the other stuff is just like the icing on the cake. And then the software I use here is Ecamm Live, and I really like it. It doesn't do everything that, say, OBS does for free, but it does a lot, and it does it very easily. They're always adding new features, and now they're even doing this restream. So today the stream is going out to my YouTube and my Facebook just because I can. So you've got this feature in here. You can also use it to record videos as well. So that's the main thing. There's a few other things, like there's the Stream Deck you can use to throw stuff on the screen like this. You just press a button that pops up. That's nice to have. But all you really need is the latest iPhone, some really good lighting, a good microphone somehow, and that's it. And good content, of course. That's all you need. This other stuff is just bells and whistles, but it's good to have that too. So this is a green screen. Again, the reason I'm using the green screen is because I didn't have time to put all my gear away behind me, to be completely honest about it. And then the green screen is just a sheet behind me. This is also built into Ecamm, and it does mean that it means that you can have things like, let's see here. So this is a transparent background, but you could have something like this. You know, it's a bit corny, but it can make your live streams more fun and engaging. It's really nice when you show something like a website, because you can actually be on top of the screen while you're scrolling through it and showing off what's on the screen. So that's really nice to have. So that's my rig. But, you know, start small, I would say, because I already had some of this gear before I went live to do other stuff with. So I would say start with just a really good cell phone, because you use that for everything anyway, and really good lighting and some kind of really good audio, even just maybe like a USB mic or something to start with, like a clip-on, a lav or something on here into the phone. Just get really clear audio, really good lighting, really reliable internet connection is very important as well. Use wired, not Wi-Fi if possible, things like that. There's a lot that goes into it, but you can then eventually build it up into something that looks really, really good. So there's still a lot I want to do with my stream. Like I really want to redesign the screens and everything and make it more interactive, more engaging eventually. But it's just nice that I have this in here all the time. I can come in here and just go live and talk about something, either as a video or a live stream. So that's that one. Oh, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. So if you want to do me a favor, just to wrap up, thanks for joining me. I always have fun with these, just talking about random stuff. If you're new here, subscribe and ring the bell. If you are already subscribed and you want to help me out, what you can do is give this video a like right now. And also, can you click on this link? This is my Sweetwater link. If you click it and buy something, I'll get some money back at no cost to you. But the thing is, even if you don't buy something, it looks good for me with Sweetwater that people are clicking my link. So click that link, check out some gear. Now we've finished. I'll see you next week. Exciting things are coming. I've got to go and do some more stuff on Reverb now, because next week I should have a couple of things to show you that I think are going to be really exciting videos, and I'll show them in the live stream as well, because I think a lot of people will be talking about these things. But I can only do that if I now go and sell a lot of stuff on Reverb. So I'm going to go and do that. I'll see you soon. Anything exciting happens this week, I'll make a video about it or go live. But I've got a lot of shows on this week, so most likely I'll see you here again next Monday at the same time. I look forward to it. Take care and be well, and enjoy your guitars and your music gear. And if you're playing any shows this week, enjoy them. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you.
I'm not lost, but I'm not found. I'm not up, but I'm not down.